Welcome, David, and thank you for agreeing to this interview. You and I came to an agreement before the interview that I could ask you any question on any topic. Is this correct?
Yes, we did.
I have prepared 2001 questions. I don't think we'll get to all of them, but we will do our best. David, have you ever used PEDs?
Oprah, by PEDs, do you mean performance-enhancing drugs? I've never been tested positive for PEDs.
I am sorry, David. Hal, open the iPod bay doors, please.
And just a reminder that the new RIM 10 operating system will be unleashed on the world this January 30th. Stay tuned.
Thank you for the correct questions, Hal. Let's try this again. Have you ever used PETs, Mr. Dohanek?
Yes, I have used PETs, performance-enhancing teaching technologies.
Would these PETs include Web 2.0 products?
Yes, I have used Twitter, Facebook, WordPress, and wikis on occasion.
Did you use these PETs with students to help them remove barriers to their education?
Yes, I have. You have to understand, the culture is changing. It's not 1995 anymore. The world has changed and people are making connections on a global level daily.
Are you admitting to BYOD?
Yes, I am. I have brought my own device into work.
I want to talk to you about your influences in the area of PETs. Did this include a fellow Canadian, Marshall McLuhan?
Yes, he's been a great influence on my understanding of technology and media. I'm particularly interested in his idea of disruptive technology. The idea is that some technologies can disrupt or change how we do things. I think we are at the start of some massive changes. Look at how digital technology has changed the photography industry. Who takes pictures on film anymore? How many pictures do you print, Oprah? People are sharing pictures electronically on Facebook, Twitter, Flickr, and other devices. The days of the photo booth in a parking lot with same-day service are gone. Just look at what happened to Kodak. This disruption happens over time. It evolves. As new technology comes into place, people use it for traditional or existing uses. An example of this is word processing. We use computers at first as glorified typewriters. This use of electronic print has taken us to blogs, text messages, Twitter, Facebook, and so on.
Does e-learning have the potential to be disruptive to education?
Yes, it does. It definitely does. E-learning has to be more than a connected group of distant learners.
What does that mean, connected distant learners?
If you think back to how distance education was in the dark ages, say 1990, students would get a massive binder, they would read it and write in a small room somewhere, and at the end, they would take a test that was proctored by someone.
Oh, but what does that have to do with e-learning?
Right now, Oprah, e-learning is still very text-based. You really need to have a good grasp of reading and writing. Most of the information is text, with little video and some simulations, if you're lucky. We can do better. Let's take a look at this video.
The Sim Olympics is an interprofessional team training competition with actors and technicians and faculty involved to coordinate it, and the focus is resuscitation and excellence in resuscitation. The other focus is it's an interprofessional competition. The research and the best evidence medical education tells us again and again, if you want a team to perform at its highest level, that team must train together. The wonderful thing about simulation-based education is with the right environment, you can create a high-fidelity theater that recreates many of the same stressors, interactions, communication, and have trained actors to help with the contextual cues then it feels quite real. And that's not me saying that. That's the participants, people who say that it feels very real, and that's what we want to recreate. Every team has physicians and/or medical students, staff nurses, staff respiratory therapists, paramedics, and every team is a different mix, and their team then competes against other core programs.
The thing that I find really fascinating is the leadership and teamwork skills. This is a great environment to see them come together and gel. Over the last 3 days, 21 teams have taken time out of their day to come and compete. But before that, weeks of getting ready, practicing, studying, working together as a team. The educational benefit of this kind of thing is just fantastic.
There are many key factors to making this initiative a success, and faculty definitely are one of the cornerstones of making this happen. We're the only hospital and university partnership that are doing this, to my knowledge, on this scale in Canada, and we want to deliver excellent education.
The experience that we gain in simulation really does help us out considerably. I can say from personal experience, I feel a lot more comfortable running a code or helping to run a code because of my past experiences here.
We also want to make sure that we're leaders in what we do, and so there's that promotion in a few of us key faculty that are always looking forward to what can we do extra special here at Queen's.
Wow, I get that simulation can help, but how is this e-learning?
The simulation that we just saw is part of a new wave that's just starting to wash over education. People can start to use the technology to change the way we teach in class. The simulator helps the students move beyond text-based learning, and the learning is pedagogically sound. Another example of this is something like Dreambox. Here, let's take a look.
As educators, we know that every student comes to class with a different level of math ability, yet we teach a single process to an entire class at the same time. To give the best possible education to my kids, we actually need a teaching assistant for every student. We looked for math software to help. I found that many programs took a typical lesson and just converted it to a digital textbook. Another claimed to be adaptive, but all it did was move students faster or slower through the exact same lessons. But one was a revolutionary change: true adaptive learning. Dreambox is the only program designed with an intelligent adaptive learning engine. It starts helping students immediately and continuously assesses exactly where students are and adapts to how they learn in real time. Dreambox measures how students are thinking within the lessons, constantly individualizing what each student sees next. In fact, as a single student works on Dreambox for 1 minute, the program collects, analyzes, and responds to over 800 pieces of information about that student and how they learn. That's 48,000 pieces of data every hour, providing the most personalized learning experience possible. The results are amazing. The kids love it. They think Dreambox looks like a game. I think it looks like a teaching assistant for every student. A teaching assistant with infinite patience, unlimited data, and a perfect memory. With the help of Dreambox, I can give each of my students the education they deserve. It's time to learn more. Start now.
David, that was just a sales pitch.
Yes, it was a sales pitch, but what it is an example of is a collaboration between software engineers and teachers to design something that helps students learn online that is pedagogically sound.
But David, funds are tight. Where do schools get the money to make a dream box?
Schools and school boards don't necessarily make a dream box or a simulator like the ones that Queen's used. They're too expensive. There'll always be a place for large companies to make software products like Dreambox. However, we can use e-publications, iPads, Twitters, blogs, videos, YouTube, and a whole host of other technologies to help remove barriers, and so that kids can have access to content and understand context, so that they can then take the content and make new contexts.
So, are you saying that it's a new world?
Technology is going to change the way we learn in the next 5 or 10 years drastically. Moore's Law is catching up with education and e-learning.
Thank you for your time and thoughts.